Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about the case of Public Prosecutor and Jurong Country Club. I made an earlier video, you can click the link below, on what is an employee, the differences between an employee and an independent contractor. Basically, the court will look at various factors in determining whether a person is an employee or an independent contractor. This case of Public Prosecutor and Jurong Country Club involved CPF, the Central Provident Fund. For those of you watching overseas, it's basically a state pension fund. The CPF was trying to recover $400,000 of CPF payments over 7 years for a gym instructor. So the issue hinges upon whether the gym instructor was an employee or an independent contractor. If the court decided that he's an employee, then the Jurong Country Club had to pay the CPF of $400,000. If the court finds that he is an independent contractor, then Jurong Country Club does not have to pay him CPF. So let me give you the background facts. Between 1991 and 1998, Jurong Country Club employed Yusuf as a gym instructor and paid his CPF. They employed him as an employee. From November 1998, Jurong Country Club engaged Yusuf as an independent contractor and stopped paying CPF contributions. In fact, they stopped entering into employment agreements with Yusuf and entered into independent contractor agreements, which specifically state that he's an independent contractor. Now, Yusuf was permitted to conduct personal training sessions for non-members at the gym, non-members of the country club at the gym, outside working hours. The court found that looking at the totality of the objective evidence showed that neither Jurong Country Club or Yusuf had considered himself an employee and had not arranged their affairs as such. So in deciding whether a person is an employee for the purposes of paying CPF, the court will have regard to the parties' intentions and the totality at the parties' working relationships. The court will adopt a multifactorial approach and conduct a holistic assessment, look at the whole thing as a whole. The court will look at the relationship as a whole. So in this case, 4 contracts were entered into by the parties, okay? And in the contracts, they specifically referred to Yusuf as an independent contractor and stated that the contracts were contracts for service. The contracts also stated that nothing in the contract should constitute or have the effect of creating an employer-employee relationship. The court also analysed several key factors like control, personal service, mutuality of obligation. Let's go to control. The court considered the punch card system. Yusuf was required to punch card, but the court found it was immaterial as it was an administrative or operational issue or for convenience. It does not point, it is just because he had to punch in his card doesn't mean that he's an employee. The court also noted that his working hours were fixed in every contract. They were neutral factors. Just because you have fixed hours doesn't necessarily mean you're an employee. The court also noted that Yusuf designed his own personal training programs with no input from Jurong Country Club, and he carried out his work without supervision as he had been employed as a trained expert in the field of business. The High Court held that even though Jurong Country Club exercised a degree of control over the manner in which Yusuf did his work, considered in the context, the degree of control was a neutral factor because it did not clearly point towards an employment or independent contractor relationship. In my previous video, I discussed that the ability to delegate, that means to subcontract the work, is one factor suggesting of independent contractor relationship. So, but in this case, Yusuf was not allowed to delegate his work. The court considered that his inability to delegate the work was unsurprising given that his work involved the personal training of clients. The court also looked at his remuneration package, which was weighted towards commission, which was suggestive of an independent contractor relationship. Yusuf was also not entitled to MC and hospitalization leave. Yusuf was not included in Jurong Country Club's list of employees, which was used for budgeting purposes, and was not invited to staff functions such as dinner and dance, annual dinner and dance. So in other words, the country club did not treat him as an employee. The court also noted that Yusuf was given biometric access only, that means the tapping card, only to the gym, unlike other employees who could access all areas of the country club. So, after considering all these factors, the High Court held that Yusuf was an independent contractor and also held that Jurong Country Club did not have to pay the CPF arrears of $400,000. So thanks for watching this video on Public Prosecutor and Jurong Country Club.